Welcome to the Double A to Z Sports Podcast, where we cover all things sports from stats and prediction, to the ultimate fighting octagon, to hitting a homer with a 3-0 count while being up by 7 or more runs after the 8th inning. We're bringing you a whole new dynamic of sports talk, a podcast that keeps you up to date with all sporting transactions, beef, drama, and rumors.
Lillard, long range three.
We're your hosts, Two Ashtons and Zach Smith.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Double A to Z Sports Show. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Ashton, and join with me are the other two of my hosts going down the line. You have Zach here. Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Zach. I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm assuming you can guess what my favorite sports teams are when it comes to that. I'm a fan of all the Pittsburgh teams. I go to Kent State University. It's in Ohio, and I played
Ohio. But
yeah,
Pittsburgh
Ohio.
guy.
Yeah, I'm a Pittsburgh guy. Ohio is like the worst thing ever from Pittsburgh, but Kent's like its own thing. And then I played baseball and basketball in high school. Nothing else. Football was too small for football, so had to make do.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
I feel like the only person here that could have played football is the other guy, which is Ashton. The other Ashton. Tell us about yourself.
Did not play football.
You sure? I heard some stories.
Well, yeah. I've attempted. I've wet my toes in the football game. From North Carolina, Kinston specifically, graduated from the East Carolina University. Hornets, kind of a Lakers fan, and the Panthers, and the Braves. Got to give a shout out to the Braves, the World Series champion. But, yep, that's all I got.
Well, I'm the other Ashton, actually, and I am also from North Carolina. Little known fact, the other Ashton happened to beat me a lot in another sport that I played, being basketball. I was a two-sport collegiate prospect, however, did not play collegiate anywhere. Don't want to talk about it. Injuries.
It'd be like that.
We'll blame injuries. But I was a baseball guy. I played center field and second base for the West Carteret Patriots for all 4 years on varsity, and basketball at point guard for all 4 years as well. Was recruited by UNCW for a multi-sport scholarship, but got revoked for let's put injuries and violence use of hands with other people. Nice. But that's besides the point. So moving right along. So let's talk about what happened last night. Last night was going to be a historic night for college basketball fans all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I mean all over the world. Because if there's nobody here on the face of the earth that does not like the Blue Devils, I'm not friends with you. As a Duke fan, I was saddened last night and devastated by Coach K's last final home game, and Carolina, the stinking Tar Heels, came in and just went all over my Blue Devils, just all over them. What, if any of you guys even saw any clips, what was your thoughts on that?
I watched a little bit of the game. I'm not a big fan of. I don't really care about college basketball now, but now that I'm
Pittsburgh
in college,
guy.
I'm Pittsburgh everything. Well, Kent for basketball. That's usually what I pay attention to now. But
wow, do y'all even make the tournament, bro?
They have a chance. They're actually they're the best in the MAC right now, and
there you go.
But I usually lean towards Duke when it comes to these occasions, and especially it being Coach K's last game with such a historical person and losing.
I should also point out that you did live in North Carolina for a little bit. So you did experience the Cotton Road rivalry, coming in from a different state. What was it like coming in from a different state, experiencing that, when you were not only playing basketball yourself in high school, because you were here in high school?
Yeah. So I was in North Carolina for 2 years in high school. Then I moved back to Pittsburgh. So it was like a quick little 2-year vacation. And Duke in North Carolina was like, I noticed you either have one side or the other, and most people on the North Carolina side, and if you were on the other side, you were hated. I was like, I like Duke, and everyone was like, oh, you like Duke? And I'm like, is it that big a deal down here? I didn't realize that.
Yes. Ashton can tell you, it is it is like the cream of the crop when it comes to like college basketball. Like with the Cotton Road, Tobacco Road, whatever you want to call it, rivalry is the rivalry in college basketball, like a lot of people thinks. I remember having a conversation with Ashton years and years ago, when Duke was like, I think it's when they had when it was all the white boys. That was the slow white boys, John Shire, Singler, and that team. And Carolina had a good team too. Like they both were on opposite sides of the brackets. And he was like, they put them there on purpose because the NCAA is begging for a Carolina Duke championship. Because imagine if the NCAA tournament had a one time, they've met in the Final Four in the Sweet 16 like once or twice. But like, imagine if the NCAA tournament had a Duke Carolina showdown in the NCAA championship. Like, how crazy would it be?
Yeah.
Like,
it'd be
especially
Super Bowl
for Coach
numbers.
K's last year.
It would be Super Bowl numbers. I mean, the average, it would be.
The game
feel
yesterday
like
was
it would be
almost Super Bowl numbers.
Yeah. Like,
think-
and I mean, go ahead.
If you look at that game, though, that's going into it. I didn't think there was any chance Carolina would win, but now that you look at it, that was such a trap game. I mean, it was so emotional for Duke.
There's always a
Yes.
comparison.
I mean, it was just set up.
Yes.
It was just set up for Carolina to win from the get-go. Because Duke didn't go through their normal warm-ups, because all the pomp and circumstance. So looking back at it, it's like, man, that would have been an easy win in Vegas if hindsight was such a thing. So I mean, somebody needs to look at this stat. I remember when I pulled for Carolina back in the 90s, I always wanted them to lose that last game going into the ACC tournament, because it would give Dean a chance to just really turn the screws on them. And then I feel like every time they lost to Duke going into the ACC tournament, that last game, it feels like they won the ACC tournament and then got like a 1 or 2 seed. So, I mean, I just think it sets up like coaching, coaching circumstance.
Well, it figures out each other's flaws. Like as a basketball coach that's coached basketball before, it figures out your team's flaws, because Duke just didn't play defense. They did not play any defense that game. And it was just apparent that either the freshmen or like the team that they have, because right now college basketball is just like a one and done carousel really at this point, with the G League and all that stuff that is happening. And it's been very what just happened to you? Your camera's disabled due to slow internet connection, but your videos, I didn't even notice that just popped up. Okay. Anyway, moving on into the next topic. Also last night, another big upset in UFC was Covington actually beat Masvidal via unanimous decision. And this is how big of an upset it was. Drake made a bet of $275,000 that Masvidal was going to beat him. No matter what it was just going to win.
That's one thing I always
that's crazy.
Is it feels like big names. They like 90% of the time they can pull it off, but then like once they lose the first one, they're just done. I don't know, like that seems like to be like a recurring thing, like the McGregor, the Ronda Rousey, like all the big name people. It's like they get like the trap game, like the Duke, they get trapped, and then they lose, even if it's by unanimous decision.
Masvidal had that moment where like when he faced Ben Askren, where he was like Ben Askren was coming out and was like bam, the flying knee, and like ever since then Masvidal just went like
it's a big name,
where it was like just he became a big name, and it's just like, but dude. Like I went in because I watched fight. Like I'm a big UFC guy. I've taken MMA myself. I've taken Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 6 years and Muay Thai for about 2.5. I'm the type of person that's like I love UFC. So it's like I see that. I saw that fight and I was just like, wow. Because on paper, Masvidal is a better fighter. Like he's a better fighter on paper. And that was a big upset.
Sports are crazy.
It is sports. So moving right along, recently the NBA put out a all-time 75 list, and there was a lot of backlash to this list that came out. Notable names such as 4-time NBA champions. I'm paraphrasing here. 4-time NBA champions in the 2000, Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker were both left off that list, as well as Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, and a lot of others, just to name Klay Thompson, just to name a few.
So
one part of the Splash Brothers, but I hate to say this. Because I know somebody else is going to say this. I hate to say this, but Scottie Pippen makes the list. Person that got carried by Michael Jordan makes the list.
Debatable, but I still think
no, it's not debatable.
I think there are
carried.
I think
by
there
Michael
are better
Jordan.
players. I think there are better players. So like my biggest one was Pau Gasol.
Pau. That's another one.
That one didn't make sense to me. I think all the other ones were like, did Damian Lillard make it?
No, yes, Damian Lillard made it.
How
does Damian Lillard make it and Tony Parker and Ginobili don't make it? You take Parker in his prime or Ginobili in their prime and put them on any other team in the NBA at that time, they're going to give you 25 and 10 a night. Like, Ginobili was a star, and he just accepted a role as a third player. And that's why the Spurs were so good.
I think that's also what makes
them
really good, too.
You got to remember, too, and I know this is not going to be a popular choice for you, Ashton, but Vince Carter, 19th on the all-time scoring list. And really, I was looking at his stats today. If you took out his last 6 years, he's averaging like 26 a game.
Vince Carter was a monster.
I feel like he changed the game. Yeah,
I think
he did. He was a monster. Well, I think the reason Vince Carter, like a lot of people look at Vince Carter, was because of his shot selection. He had very bad, poor shot selection in the NBA because he shot a lot of like fading away, contested, like Kobe shots, but Kobe made them. Vince Carter didn't make them, unfortunately. Like I saw Vince Carter, like, because when I'm in the NBA, I have 3 teams. I have 3 teams in the NBA. I have the Lakers, I have the Spurs, and I have the Mavericks. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying the Spurs and the Mavericks. I loved Dirk Nowitzki. And, well, dude, I grew up Kobe and Shaq. You know, I grew up Kobe and Shaq. I grew up Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, and I grew up Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash. Like, those were my 3. And, like, seeing Vince Carter not on that list when he played with Dirk Nowitzki, and I watched how he played with Dirk at that age, and Vince Carter was like, what, 34, 35 with Dirk, and was still putting up 22 a game? And, like, this is after Dirk had won a championship, and, like, I'm like, dude, how do you not give this man that respect? Like, dude, this dude was like a 14-time All-Star.
I think it was like one.
Dude,
I still think Pau Gasol is like, I think that's the biggest.
Well, yeah, Pal's another one. Pal averaged like 22 a game in his career. Like, Pal's a great player, 2-time NBA champion.
Yeah,
7 or 8-time All-Star, maybe 10.
Been different.
Dwight Howard too. Like, how do you not put these people on that list and you put Damian Lillard?
Yeah, I think Damian Lillard has a chance. I don't think he has enough.
When you look at the NBA that's changed so many times over the decades, it's hard to like, can you imagine, like, and I know this is going to be old school, but can you imagine Jordan playing in the NBA now where you can't hand check? I mean,
he would have destroyed.
Could you imagine
he would average 60 a game?
Can you imagine Kobe playing in the 60s?
He would have destroyed.
Can you imagine me playing in the 60s?
I mean, I think a more accurate.
No offense.
Yeah.
No offense, but we all could have played in the 60s.
Oh yeah. But I mean, these guys now don't understand the arm bar in the back, the hand check. Like, I don't, in opposite, can you imagine like Gary Payton trying to play defense on some of these guys now? I mean, Gary Payton.
He fell out.
His hand was on your hip the whole time. That's why he fell out. Glove. But I think a better thing, they should have done like an all-decade team, like maybe 10 people each decade. It's just hard to compare. Like,
you see, Shaq said it perfectly when he said that we need to stop talking about the greatest of all time and talk about the greatest by decades, because you can't look at Michael Jordan and be like, I mean, all right, okay. I can look at Michael Jordan and say Jordan's the greatest player of all time. I can say that. In my opinion, I can say that. I can say Kobe is right there with him, and I can say LeBron's right there with him. But to like say anybody else besides maybe Kareem or Magic is in that conversation, I don't want
to. I mean, this is a hot take. Kareem is way overrated. I will say it right now. He had a move, one move,
dropping it,
that put him on the map.
So was Dirk Nowitzki overrated? Because Dirk had that one move.
Dirk's not considered one of the greatest like top 5 ever though.
Nobody says
I
Dirk
would put Dirk in the
Nowitzki's one of
top. I would put Dirk in the top, but I would put Dirk in that conversation. Are you kidding me?
People rank Kareem higher than Dirk, and I think that's what
All the
overrates
time.
him. Yeah, I think
There's
that's the
some-
difference.
And
That's the difference.
That's
Two or
offensive,
three.
though.
That's the difference.
That's offensive to
I
me,
understand
though.
what he's saying. I understand
Like,
what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's offensive to me, saying that Dirk and Kareem can't be in the same dinner table because they can.
But what
That's like saying Tim Duncan can't be at
opinions
the dinner
would not
table.
be that.
They could be at the dinner table, the 7 through 10 dinner table.
I'll get I'll take
Yeah.
that. I'll take that argument. But like as far as like dominance wise though, who has been like the most dominating force in the history of the NBA, just in terms of dominance?
Jordan. Wilt Chamberlain.
No, I mean
I
like
would say-
dominance.
If you mean,
I mean, nobody
dominance,
was-
well.
Bill Russell won, 11 rings?
Yeah, I would say Bill Russell.
For this, I mean, that's...
It's one of the
So,
Wilt or Bill, dude. One of them two
Yeah,
is just
But
So-
again,
so, like-
what would Bill Russell do now?
there's
exactly.
a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has a trophy named after him.
Wow.
What's that?
Yeah.
I
He's
ain't got a comment
legendary.
on that. Sure.
They're both legendary, but like, you can't make a comparison. Like, we just went over that. It's kind of hard.
And he did it
I
as
think
he's the only player in history to be a player coach and win a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the times are
Celtics.
different.
Bill Russell. Yeah, and also speaking of Wilt's dominance, this man went over to a whole different side of basketball, entertaining and doing spins on his fingers and doing globetrotter shit, and still dominated in basketball.
Commercial.
Like,
And then one more. I've got one more.
on
Robert
the 75.
There's
Yes.
no way
Yes.
Robert Parrish or Kevin McHale, since we're talking
Yes.
about it. And I like the
Yeah.
Celtics, but those two
Yeah.
guys are not the two of the 75 best ever to play.
No, I did, dude. I agree. Like it's
If
like
you go,
how
with a grain of salt.
was Tracy McGrady even on that list? I don't
No,
even know
he
if Tracy
wasn't
McGrady.
either.
was.
Tracy didn't
See,
know.
how is Tracy McGrady not on that list? This
Did,
dude
uh,
averaged
did
like
John
30
Stock-
a game.
Well, hold on. This list was there had to be like how many rings you won. Most of
I
these
think it's
guys
historical. I don't think it's best. I think
Yeah.
it's historically.
I mean,
like,
was John Stockton?
Well, that
on this
also-
No, but still,
Hey, I mean, he shouldn't have
no,
been.
I don't know,
but
John.
I don't know if he was.
I
on
don't
the
know,
list or
John
not.
Stockton. I don't know.
If it goes
I mean,
based off of-
John Stockton's a great point guard. I would put John Stockton
He-
in the
he is
top.
a
Like, when I
system
think of a
point guard.
point guard, but when I
Like
think
a
of a
system
point guard,
quarterback.
Yeah.
well, time out. Hold on. When I think of a point guard, I think of Jason Kidd or Steve Nash, like right there, just
Yeah.
because it's my era.
Yep.
And then
Jason,
two,
yeah.
Pistol Pete. I think of Pistol Pete right there of controlling an offense, and then John Stockton's right there with Pistol Pete. And the reason being is that he did his job as a point guard. He controlled the offense. He brought the ball up. He set up the offense. He commanded where you went on defense, and he pointed it out when they were coming down the floor. That's what a point guard's job is to control your team. And he did that perfectly.
Yeah, there's a reason he's on the list, I think. Like I said, with the criteria
Pistol Pete was
that-
20 years too early. If Pistol Pete would have
Yes.
played in the 80s or
Yeah.
the 90s, he would have been he
Yeah.
would have been on Gatorade bottle. I mean, he would have been.
I think if he
everything.
played today, I think Pistol Pete
Oh,
could
yeah.
dominate today.
Yeah.
Like,
Have
I mean,
you seen
I-
ESPN did a good one of those docus on Pistol Pete and like how hated he was by his teammates because they thought he was showboating. And
yeah,
it's
because
just
he had
was
one
so
where he
far
like
ahead
rolled
of
the
his
ball,
time.
right?
Yeah, and the guy let it go out of
Crazy.
bounds
Times
because he
have
was
changed.
passing the ball like a man. The guy was like, "Hey, he got you a dunk." But
Yeah,
Times have
right.
changed
Yeah,
with
Pistol-
that.
Like
Pistol was
imagine,
up there,
imagine, Ashton. Imagine if we played on the same team, and I'm the showboater, and I get a rebound, and you're cherry picking, pulling a LeBron,
Yeah.
before it was LeBron, you're cherry picking, and instead of me trying to throw it over a guy that's the same size as me and he can jump up and block it, I fake and then just roll it between his legs, and I mean it's a wide open layup, and you're just like,
it's entertaining.
that's
I think
mean,
it's
that's what it's
so-
like.
I think we're so
Yeah.
desensitized to those moves now because like everyone in the NBA can do that crap now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like Pistol Pete, like invented the pass fake. Like I don't know if you remember this, but he
yeah.
invented like the plays
I
where
don't.
people take the ball and like go like behind them, and the people turn around and then they shoot over them. Pistol Pete invented that. Like that was his shot. That was his move, was the pass fake and then shooting. That was his move. And like people just didn't like, they thought he was showboating, and it's like, is he? I
effective.
mean, nowadays you're just like, it's not really showboat. But it was also, sorry to go off on another tangent. It was Paul Pierce on that list of 75.
Yeah, I think he was. He was in the picture
How
with
is-
all the with the.
How is Paul
Jack.
Pierce on that list, bro? Like Paul Pierce
'Cause
is
he got
good, but
rings.
he's not like, dude. He got one. He got one.
Yeah.
He's not Tony Parker. He's not
No.
a career Tony Parker or Manu Ginobili. But I mean, like, all right, we're moving on.
my
I'm
last-
gonna get even mad.
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
get
go
one more
ahead,
hot take.
Go ahead.
One more hot take
go
on
ahead.
this, and I'll let it go. This
Yeah.
I love this guy on TV, but Charles Barkley, like really, if you think
Yeah.
about it, what did he do? Other
Nothing.
than
He
throw
lost
people
two.
through
He lost
windows.
2 finals.
I mean,
I
if he
think when it
played
comes
today,
to the changing the game,
If he played today,
because
he'd
he was
be
fat.
he'd
If
be
he was
that
skinny,
6.
he wouldn't have changed the game.
If he played today, he'd be another Draymond Green. I feel like he would literally be a Draymond Green.
He wouldn't play today because like every other week he was like getting fights at bars and stuff like that. He would be nonstop.
Oh, it'd be on
suspended.
TV. Yeah, he'd be
Yeah.
suspended nowadays. That's true. But like, I mean, he is the all-time Olympic leading scorer, though. I think, or Kevin Durant might have broke that. I think Kevin Durant or Carmelo might have broke that.
I think KD
But he,
is close,
yeah, I
if
think
not
he
broke it.
was.
That's
I think
'cause
he
played
was.
against Nigeria
or
like
is.
Oh
10
no,
times.
isn't I thought LeBron? No, I don't
No,
know.
LeBron
What do
didn't
I know?
score. No, so I remember watching. Speaking of the Olympics, I
No, it
remember
was someone
watching.
random, dude. I remember.
I remember
seeing
watching the Redeem team, like the 08 team, and me and Ashton were talking about it years ago. Was like, dude, when Kobe and Carmelo were going to team up after that, there wasn't enough shots in the NBA game, man. Because I remember watching them in the 08 Olympics when they would bring the ball up. Whoever brought the ball up shot the ball because it was just like, I haven't shot the ball in 7 possessions. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like, if Kobe brought the ball up, he heaved up a 40-footer and he made it. LeBron brought the ball up, he heaved up a 40-footer, he made it. Carmelo brought the ball up, he heaved a 40-footer, he made it. Chris Paul, same thing. It's just like, whoever brought the ball up shot it because they didn't pass the ball. And then there's Coach K on the sideline just like so mad that his team's not even doing anything. But, all right, moving on. So let's talk about the NBA trade deadline. What happened? I'm gonna name the big. I'm gonna name the big trade. Just the one big trade that kind of like went down. That has still just kind of left me confused, even now that it's beyond and in the rearview mirrors. The Ben Simmons James Harden trade. What the hell? What in the blue hell were the Nets thinking? Like, what in the absolute Sam hell are you the number 1 team in the East and you're gonna get rid of a player for a guy who hasn't played all season with mental problems?
Well, you're the number 1. People think you should be the number 1 team. I mean, in reality, what, they're 7th, 6th or 7th right now? Brooklyn?
Are
yeah,
they?
Yeah, they also haven't had
KD
as much.
Well,
and
yeah, they also
Kyrie.
haven't
There's been
KD.
long.
They've been
And
injured.
Kyrie.
So,
I
yeah.
think you had. I mean, Harden. He was letting everybody know he wasn't happy. So I think you just cut ties. You can get. But what people don't realize is Ben Simmons is a good defender. He's been like a finalist.
Oh, he's a great
for
defender.
Yeah, so I mean that's all they don't need a score. When
But
Kyrie plays
Ben
in
Simmons,
the playoffs, they
Ben
don't-
Simmons is the player. Ben Simmons is a player that literally can play, and they say LeBron can play all 5. Nowadays, LeBron can play all 5. But when I look at all 5, I don't like all 5 positions. Back in my day, I don't think LeBron can guard Tim Duncan or Shaq in the paint. Like he's too
No,
like
nobody
no
can.
offense.
No.
No offense to LeBron. LeBron's a beast. He literally is. But he's not stopping a prime Tim Duncan or a
don't
prime
think anyone
Shaq or
is.
even a prime Hakeem. Well, they would. Like Shaq and Tim Duncan had many battles. Like and they would go
They're
tit for
different,
tat.
though.
But yeah, they couldn't stop each other. But like I think Ben Simmons would have been able to hold his own at 5. I think because just his size. I think he would have held his own. I don't think he would have stopped Shaq or stopped Tim Duncan. He would have slowed him down just because of his size and his athleticism. He could have played all 5.
In my opinion, I don't believe Ben Simmons is comparable to like anybody. Like I think what Big Ashton said was he's a good defender, but replacing on a team that they don't need as many scorers. And I think with a new place where he knows he's going to thrive, I think he's going to have the confidence to play better because James Harden wasn't happy, Ben Simmons wasn't happy. So might as well make the flip for players that will benefit on both sides. I think it was
I think
good
both
trade.
teams got better.
Yeah. For now, I
Both
think the
teams got
76ers
better,
got better now. But in the future, I think the Nets will end up having the better side of it.
I agree. Like, yeah, later on, I agree that will be the case, and I think that I think the Nets have did win the trade. Obviously, getting a younger player and somebody that maybe want to stay there as long as they don't say he's not a championship
And a
point
couple
guard.
picks. They got a couple picks too.
Well, as long as they don't say he's not a championship point guard, because that's what started the whole scenario, was Doc Rivers saying that he wasn't a championship point guard.
And they got Curry,
which, by
too,
the way,
man.
does
I think that's
anybody?
bias.
I mean, does
People
anybody
sleep
think
on
Ben
Curry.
Simmons?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, they got Curry. They got Seth,
Yeah.
right? I think
They got
Seth
some picks.
Curry.
They got some picks too. No, who switched? I forget who Seth. He's plays for the 76ers now, right?
Harden.
Yeah,
No.
Seth Curry
Seth got
or
traded
Harden.
to the Nets.
Seth is on the Nets and
Yes,
Harden's on the
yes.
76ers.
So like that's another thing.
And
Is like
Seth-
it goes under the
Dude.
radar.
Dude, Seth was incredible at Duke. I mean, when I say like incredible, I mean he was incredible at Duke. When he hit that shot over, who was it? Was it Cody Zeller or Tyler? Who was it, Ashton? When he hit the
It was
three.
One of the Zeller
I was too
brothers.
young.
Oh no, that wasn't Seth. That was Austin
No,
Rivers.
that wasn't
My fault.
Seth.
That was
Yeah,
Rivers.
that was
That was
Rivers.
Rivers. My bad. That was Austin Rivers. But dude, speaking of like the going back to the Duke Carolina rival, I don't want to go back to it, but that was a crazy shot. But all right, we're gonna bring in a very special someone for as a guest here for this evening. We're bringing in somebody all the way from the Texas region, the region of Texas. He's not even an American. He's a fucking Texan. You know, it's like one of those things. This dude was the flag football champion of his local league at one point.
Nice.
You know, playing defensive end, sacking the quarterback all the time was, you know, the greatest thing for him to ever achieve. Besides coaching the Pittsburgh Knights Rocket League team, and my God, my room just got ugly. My room just got ugly. But besides coaching the Pittsburgh Knights Rocket League team in the RLCS, everybody welcome McLando!
Hey, thanks.
Howdy.
Yeah, how are you tonight, my man? I haven't
Doing
seen you in a little
doing
while.
good. Yeah, I've been kind of MIA a little bit, but I'm here now, so
Yeah.
That's all that
I show up
matters
when it
is that
matters.
you show up when it matters, just like the Lakers, right? Too soon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, too soon. Well, how the hell are you, dude?
I'm good, man. I mean, it's a good Sunday. I mean, I'm glad I get the weekend to just kind of like recover, but it's also fun as
Right.
well. You know, you get to have some fun.
Well, I mean,
and recover.
mainly, I remember Rocket League way like, you know, I'm talking RLCS like season 1 through like I don't know, before 10, when it went to the whole like, you know, before COVID hit and before it was a crazy schedule like it is, was literally just every weekend for a little while, or it was like a set period and it was just like, you know, you had these dates and then like a little bit of off span. So as an RLCS fan, talk to me a little bit, you know, as we kind of segued right into an interview. You like how that went down? But, you know, talk to me a little bit on how, like, you went from your schedule's this to now your schedule is, like, just slammed. Because, I mean, your schedule probably went from, like, okay, I have 1 or 2, like 4 or 5 days a week to coach to, like, we have no time to coach probably. And it's like...
Yeah, I mean, like the difference between coaching like a team that's not professional to a team that is professional is a sizable difference, because for some reason professionals want to win more. So they have that expectation that you are supposed to kind of put any bit of free time into it. So if you have any free time, they're like, come on, let's look over some footage or something and make sure we're going to be absolutely perfect coming up in a week, 2 weeks, whatever time frame that they give you.
Yeah,
That's
and
always been interesting to me. The professional mindset of when it comes to things is like, it seems like most professionals have like the killer instinct when it comes to like literally any sport, anything. Even when it comes to like esports, it's like kind of crazy how that translates too.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what my boss says sometimes when I bring up like a player that I want. He's like, he's not a killer. We don't want him. He's not a killer. It's literally that
he's not
mentality.
Kobe.
Yeah.
He's not Kobe. We don't want
killer.
anybody without. Yeah, we don't want anybody that's not the Kobe mentality. Kind of touching off that, because you kind of touched a little bit about, your coaching history going from a team that wasn't professional to a team that is professional. Tell us a little bit about your coaching history, because I know you coached a couple of people like before that. Well, I think it was Stromboli, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then you went into Pittsburgh Knights, which is, an organization like, an RLCS caliber team and all that stuff. So take us through your coaching journey, like your whole carousel you went through, how it started, like all that stuff. Because it's strap in, guys.
Yeah, it's a bit of a story, but I'm telling you, like you can base off of somebody's like progress in their career just based off of like the team name. Because at the beginning I was coaching teams like Monkey Business, Stromboli. And then we get to the Knights eventually. So it's like you're on this transition of like less serious to more serious. We were trying to win the entire time, obviously, but you're backed by bigger names as you go along. Now I started like way back when I just had that initial like, can I teach people how to play a video game, which is kind of a weird thing to think about. You don't really like think about it that way. Like I pick up a game, I play it just fine or something, but I'm telling you, if you have somebody who is witnessing what you're doing behind you, they can point out so many things that you'll just never notice because you're so focused on little things, major things. You can't really do both at the same time. So if you have somebody there for you, you can kind of cater to what they need.
Kind of like a normal coach would in a way, right?
That's hard
between
to for
another
some
sport.
Yeah.
So, I would call you the Phil Jackson of Rocket League. What would you say?
Do I get to earn that now? That's awesome. Okay.
I don't know. You got to win about 11 majors, I think, because that's how many titles you won. 11, I think. So.
Yeah, I do have a question. How do you fall into like the title of a professional? Like, does it kind of like, were you asked, or was it like, did you apply to it, or like, how did you like fall into the Pittsburgh Knights?
So initially, when I was trying out for semi-pro teams, that's kind of where the intro to being a professional is. You had to try out, and they threw you right in the thick of it. So they'll give you a scenario. You get like 2 games. Tell us what we did wrong, and we already know. So you have to point out everything that we know that we did wrong, and give us a good solution that everybody agrees to.
That's kind of interesting, honestly. Like,
yeah, you don't assume coaches try out, but we gotta go through a grueling process as well.
Yeah, especially like seeing how like most coaches for like not like regular sports, not esports, it's like, to try out for a coach is usually you can tell, and you have like a history of being a coach. But this one is just like, here's us purposely doing things wrong. Figure out what we did wrong. It's kind of like a weird train. I think it's cool, honestly. I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, because you look at like other sports like baseball, basketball, especially basketball, they're like, well, how can you help the offense improve? And you hear like, well, I want to implement this offense. I want to run the Princeton. I want to run the triangle. With Rocket League, I imagine you don't really have much of, let's run the triangle offense in Rocket League. Like, it's not really something that just, that just happens. So what's your favorite part about coaching Rocket League?
Well, I just think the game itself is just so amazing because it's not like a game where you have like a set position. I don't have a center. I don't have like an attack guy. I don't have a goalie. I have somebody that needs to play every role perfectly. And that means you need to cater to something and exceed at something to be special. So you have to be good at literally every aspect of the game and amazing at other aspects.
Yeah, that's something that, probably all of us here understands a little bit of, being that we all played a variety of sports, ranging from, high school to semi-professional in the Mormon Basketball League with 3 seconds left, hitting a buzzer beater to the one below me.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
To the bald guy with 3 seconds left, hitting a buzzer beater in the Mormon Basketball League.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the elo difference from it comes to like, if you think you're good, I promise you there's someone way better than you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For video games too, it's like basketball. It's like I think I'm decent at basketball, but it's like I'm nowhere near the level of like anything
the NBA.
close to, yes, I'm nowhere near it.
Nowhere near.
And it's like laughably not even close.
Yeah,
like even when it comes to
near.
like video games, like I'll be playing like Apex or something. I'm like, oh, I'm like doing really good. Then you play like a professional Apex player and you get like destroyed,
you get demolished,
and it's just like. It's crazy how that translates too.
It's weird because like the way Rocket League tiers work, as like just we'll talk about ranks, just breeze over them really quick because we can dive into a rabbit hole here, as Lando probably can tell you. That like I'm a grand champ. So grand champion used to be the highest rank you can earn. Now there's SSLs, which is literally strictly for what, like 0.1% of the player, 0.1% of the player base, or like It's crazy. So keep in mind, I'm a grand champ. I'm a GC1. I'm teetering to GC2. I'm 1 and 2 constantly. Lando's better than me. Lando's 100% better than me. He's what? You're GC3, 2?
Yeah, I'm GC2.
And the pros are all SSLs. And this dude is coaching people that are like, cream of the crop. And here's a weird question that, like, as a sports guy, as 3 sports guys here that understand, like, in other sports organizations, and like the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, they all have salary caps with teams. And this is really just my question. Yeah. And I'm just really curious about your take on it. With teams like NRG and FaZe and SSG that are like stacking these superstar rosters, when it first happened with NRG, when they first stacked Squishy and Garrett and Justin together and created, really the first North America powerhouse, when you think about it. Do you think there needs to be, like, now looking at it, because FaZe, NRG, are normally the top 2 teams in North America consistently, do you think there needs to be some sort of competitive salary cap that allows players to not stack teams like that and turn it into, like, LeBron's big 3 in Miami?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I could see it being a problem, like, in the far off future. But the problem with esports right now is it's kind of still in its infancy. So you do face a problem with most of the players don't get paid enough as is. Like, they're
right.
The average
That's
player
another
doesn't get paid
issue.
enough. Like, even if they're professional.
You agree. Correct.
So even the top end, they're making a lot, but they're not making, like, incredible amounts.
Millions.
There's only so much money in esports, so it's not anything like baseball or basketball or football. Like, you're not seeing people get signed for $10 million contracts for a year.
I wish I'd be fucking grinding. I'd be grinding, bro.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah,
like, I want that ninja paycheck, man.
But I fully believe that esports will get to that level someday. And yeah, I would very much like to see if, it follows in sports footsteps, where you just have to have that cap on somebody just so that they don't dominate a scene, just because I usually get bored seeing the same team over and over again.
Well, there was a time where, like, NRG was just winning everything. Like, I mean, with they were winning everything. Like, in season 10 and a little bit of season 11, they were just winning everything. And mainly because that tandem that they had of those 3 players. And, when you take a player that was just as good as Squishy coming off Cloud9 to NRG, and, Justin was already, built by NRG in a way. He grew up through that, and same with Justin. Or Garrett, my bad.
Yeah.
And Garrett's evolved as a player over the years. And, and with that evolved and that team and getting the right coach with Sizz was just, like, everything just seemed to kind of just click. And then they just, I mean, I feel like if you feel like there was a LAN in season 10 where there was a majors, do you think NRG would have won?
It was very likely that they would have won, yeah. And again, if you're holding it to, like, a salary, I mean, that team's just good regardless how much they get paid.
Well, I don't mean like a salary. I mean, like, a competitive balance. Like something where, like, you can only have, like, someone like I don't want to say, like, Justin and Squishy are, like, the best players, but at the time they were, like, arguably in the top 5. At the time, they were
really good friends with each other, and they want to play
that too,
with each
yeah.
other. So I mean, there's aspects outside of limiting players. If they had limitations, they would still be a team, and that is just, like, they wouldn't try to find, like, money somewhere else. They're very well. They very much like where they're at right now. Despite
I also think that that kind of stuff, it comes with esports being a smaller thing. So, like, as it gets bigger, I think more people will get into it and more good players will get into it that they don't even know if they're good yet, or they're still, like, practicing or whatever. So I think it's a slow grind to the top.
So that's a great segue into my next question. Is you've seen Rocket League evolve over the years from, even not the new season 1, but, the old season 1, the original season 1. For those who don't know, Rocket League went 15 seasons and then reset back to 1. Is that right, Lando? It was 14 or 15?
Yeah, it was 14.
Yeah, 14 seasons, and then they reset back to 1, and now they're on 4 or 5?
This will be 5. So
5.
19 total.
Yeah, so the original season 1, seeing how Rocket League has evolved over that time frame since 2016, where do you see it going now, like, as much as it's evolved?
I honestly feel like Rocket League is like the best like bridge between real sports and esports. It is just such a pure form of competition. And I think anybody could just watch a series of Rocket League and understand exactly what's going on. You understand when somebody scores, hey, that's a good thing. Your team's up a point. You don't have to be playing video games to understand that. So I honestly see it doing really well in the long term. Like, I think Rocket League just has such a great future in front of it.
I think it's crazy how, like, I remember watching like RLCS season 1, and I remember the like when aerials were scored, like, you know, they were just like the basic bronze aerial nowadays, I feel like. And like when they would go up and score, everybody would freak out about it. Now if somebody hits an aerial shot, it's just like, oh, whatever. You know, if it wasn't like a triple flip reset musty off the backboard triple touch, then it's like nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude. And then you have all these content creators, stuff like that has really pushed Rocket League into like a very big portion and like into a mainstream audience, which I think is wonderful. So now let's go into a segment or just kind of go away from the interview a little bit, because now we kind of know a little bit more about you. And let's talk about something that not a lot of people really know you know a lot about, which is just sports in general. Just sports in general. Lando's a big sports guy, loves everything San Francisco. So unlike Zach, not a Pittsburgh guy. Boo,
Pittsburgh guy.
Boo, Pittsburgh, boo.
He coaches the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
You might be outnumbered here, buddy. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh. Oh,
you changed your tune real quick there.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, yay, Pittsburgh! You see how I got just red really quickly? Yeah. Beads of sweat had started pulling from my face. Yeah. So no, being a San Francisco guy, looking at the 49ers, and you know the way they performed in the playoffs, going into the NFL a little bit here.
Yeah, sure.
The way the NFL was in the playoffs, I got a chance to watch. I think it was almost every NFL game in the playoffs this season. And we'll kind of recap the NFL really quick. The Bengals lost the Super Bowl by Aaron Donald sacking Joe Burrow with
Aaron Donald's a Pittsburgh guy, just saying.
And the Rams won the Super Bowl this year. The Buccaneers were the favorite heading into the season to repeat with the oldest player in the history of the NFL, I feel like, without a walker, Tom Brady, who has decided to hang up his cleats. It was a very sad day for me as a Brady fan and as a Brady guy. But let's talk about some teams that were in the playoff contentions. That what do they need to do to, you know, kind of go to that level to win the Super Bowl? And the Bengals are included. You know, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. They were just moments away and they lost. But let's first touch a team that, you know, Lando knows a lot about, which is the 49ers. You know, looking at the 49ers, they have a big question. The big question is, who's their quarterback next year? Is it Trey Lance? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Is it Aaron Rodgers? I mean, who is their quarterback next year? If it's Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's a massive upgrade. But if it's like, you know, where do the 49ers go from here to become that Super Bowl team?
I just feel like the Niners are just such a frustrating team right now because there's just so many good weapons on that team. Like I want them to succeed so much, and you know, you end up 10-7 at the end of the season, and just like we had the roughest start, so we were definitely a second half of the season team. I honestly think the troubles are at the quarterback position. I don't know if either of those guys are the solution
Jimmy G is a great field commander. Like he's a great person to control the game at the ball. He's a great guy to control your team. That's what I was about to say. But skill wise, it's just not there. It's just not.
It is there.
It's just not there.
Not consistent. And that's what frustrates me about Jimmy. Yes, is that his ceiling is great, but his floor is just terrifying every time I see him on the field. I feel like I'm just gonna have a nightmare after every game.
And I'm still. I know he's a rookie this year, but Trey Lance, from like what I've seen of him, I'm not. I know he's a rookie, but I'm not sold.
I'm not turned off on him.
That's how I felt. Yeah, It's tough because he made those choices where I'm like, that's a rookie. that guy.
But like I said, you can't judge someone on like being a rookie But there are, to be an NFL caliber player, I think you would know, like Justin Herbert, you knew.
Yes, of course.
Joe Burrow, you knew.
Yep.
Like, I feel like
Ashton
Trey Lance,
Creech, you knew.
yeah. I feel like sometimes
those guys got mad playing time though. I mean, Trey Lance is still.
That's a difference. That is the difference.
Even
That is
Ashton
true,
Creech?
though.
Even
Yeah.
Ashton Creech?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he
With
got
as
tons
many
of playing
weapons
time at
as you have, though, you
ECU.
shouldn't be losing games, no matter if you're a rookie or not, though.
Well, I mean,
Trey
Ashton,
just
what's your
didn't show
take on
that.
that? Like, who do you think the 49ers
think-
goes after as quarterback?
Well, I think the 49ers have what, $3 million in cap space, so they would
About,
be,
yeah.
business wise. They should.
They got to
cut-
trade
should
They got to
get
trade
rid of-
Garoppolo.
Yeah, because I think the business formula right now is that you make your strides with a guy on a quarterback on a rookie deal, because you can spend all your money elsewhere. So they can't waste another year with Trey Lance on the bench, wasting that that tiny cap hit. And that's what it's
you're-
about now, unfortunately.
That's another thing is with Joe
Yeah.
Burrow. Whenever the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be like, I think they're going to be good. I didn't expect them to be as good as obviously. I didn't expect them to be a Super Bowl team this year, but with Joe Burrow with the rookie contract thing,
Well, that's the thing. Joe
whenever
Burrow
he's
also,
up, he's going to get like a huge contract, and the Bengals are just going to get worse. That's been like a
Yeah.
common thing.
Yeah.
With
Well, see, not a lot of people realize this, but Joe Burrow was on the second year of his contract because he was injured all last season. He still got paid. I mean, he still got paid just because he was injured. I mean, he's on the second year of his deal, so it's not like he got injured and didn't just stop. So like he's like next year is his last year on his rookie deal. So like next year's their year. Like if they need to spend money to get a team to win for the Bengals, this is that time. This is that time to go out and get that. Go ahead.
Stat of the day: the
ahead.
Bengals are $48 million under the cap right now. So they can.
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
rough.
That's what I'm saying.
that also
Oh,
they haven't paid Joe Burrow. Like that's what like in a couple years it's going to be like. Rough.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is their year to go out, get whoever they need to get, a tight end, a dump off guy for him to get, a receiver, another defensive dude. Get rid of Eli Apple. Send him to where and send him off. Send him to
Apple
outer
slander.
space. Get rid
Love
of
it.
Eli Apple. Like how he let Cooper Kupp get that wide open in the end zone. Send him onto a rocket ship and
Cooper
blast
Kupp's
him
different.
to Mars. No, I don't. No, sorry.
Eli
You're
Apple's
in the
not
Super
great.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have held the motherfucker before he got into the end zone. Like, sorry. No, not happening. This is a Super Bowl, bro. Like, dude, this ain't
No,
regular
so,
season.
I want to bring up what is it? All the teams that are looking for a quarterback and potential fillers for those, where everyone would think would be like. I know the Saints are probably going to need one if they like re-sign Winston.
Huh?
The Steelers are going to need one, as in quarterbacks. For
Yeah.
like Buccaneers, they have Kyle Trask, right? He's their rookie.
Yeah, but Kyle Trask is he's a rookie. He's I don't think Trask, but what's weird is that not Vince. Damn it, what's it? Bruce Arians said that he's comfortable with Kyle Trask taking the center and taking going under center and taking the snaps. He said if the season started today, it was like 3 weeks ago, he said if it started today, he'd be comfortable with it. But that's just Bruce Arians, I think, speaking out of his ass because it's like, can you really replace Tom Brady? Like, can you really
no one
replace
can.
Tom Brady? Like, imagine it's just like a lose-lose situation, just like Cam Newton walking into New England trying to replace Tom Brady, and it's like, can he really? Who can replace Tom Brady?
But who I was looking, being a Steelers.
I think
fan,
McLando
Stafford,
can replace
really.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, just put me in.
They were talking about they're talking about bringing Jimmy Garoppolo to the Steelers. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Fun.
Man,
Yeah,
we had
fun.
Sam Darnold last year. I will take Jimmy Garoppolo
Dude.
every day and
Yes.
twice on
Sam
Sunday.
Darnold started off hot, and then he just kind of.
He played the 3 worst teams in the league.
Wow.
I would have gone 1-2 against those same 3 teams.
You would have gone 1 and 2.
1-2, yep.
I mean, you can throw.
Phil General.
He can throw. He can throw. I'll give him that one. He can probably throw
Sam
about
Darnold
a
has an
30-yarder.
arm, just nothing else.
I'm saying Ashton can throw about a 30, 40-yarder. So, like, you know, as long as the offense doesn't go Robbie Anderson go flying down the field, he's fine.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson just takes off, you're done, man.
McCaffrey too.
Yeah, that is
You
true.
had a healthy
point.
Christian McCaffrey too. So
Well, that's another thing with Christian McCaffrey. Like, do you trade him because
him.
he's hurt so much?
Trade him.
Well, Lando, you're a 49ers fan. You want Christian McCaffrey?
I mean, I'm tired of seeing players get injured immediately, so no.
Mostert.
Not really.
I drafted Mostert in my fantasy year the past 2 years.
I want Christian McCaffrey.
And he got hurt.
I want Christian
both
McCaffrey.
years.
I don't want him making $22 million a year.
That hurts. A running back that's making that
hurts.
much money is not good.
Well, not only that, Carolina made a terrible decision by signing a right tackle for like a $20-some million deal. A right tackle, the guy that is not your blind side. He's like
that seems to be a recurring theme in bad teams is overpaying.
but it's not his blind side.
Yeah.
And
Like,
because
pay your blind
the
side
Texans
that
did it
money.
too. The Texans, they signed Laramie Tunsil for like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was just like, he's a
But
good
he's not-
lineman, but like what's he doing
Sign-
now? Like he's on a bum
Sign
team.
David Bakatari, your left tackle, who's your blind side, who protects your blind side. I understand that one, giving him $20-some million a year because he protects Aaron Rodgers' back, you know, and protects his life. Like, imagine if I went out there and decided to go block for the Green Bay Packers. Do you think Aaron Rodgers would be alive today? Hell no. Hell no. Aaron
He would've been
Rodgers would be
retired.
fucking dead, bro. Like, he'd be dead. Like, the same thing with any of us here. Aaron Rodgers would be dead. Imagine a 380-pound man running at you, running a 440 in like, a 440, sprinting at you. Like, no, dude. No, there's nobody in here that's going to stop a 385-pound man that runs a 440. Like, ain't
Not even
happening.
Professionals do it sometimes.
It ain't happening. It's not happening. Like, I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers is dead if I'm over there at left tackle. It's just, I'm sorry.
I think most people agree with you on that.
So, another question. Deshaun Watson. Where, like, what happens with Deshaun Watson and the Texans? Do they play him?
I
Do
personally,
they trade him?
I think his career's over. Personally,
I no, because I don't want to get too political here, but there's no truth to any of the allegations.
I mean,
But
who knows?
at the same time,
I'm just
like,
saying, with the
you've got-
allegations,
you've-
it's kind of hard to like.
You've got a little bit of cash in your pocket. Like, I would have personally, and I don't know, I can't speak about this, but to me, I'm like, just settle the mess and get it over with so you can get
I
back
think
to
it's
your-
over.
Oh, like settle out of court? You're saying like settle out of court?
Yeah. I
Like
'cause
Kobe,
all of it
pull a
right now
Kobe?
is civil. Yeah.
Pull a Kobe and settle out of court? Yeah, you're right. I can see that.
Just get past it. Pull the Michael Jackson and just pay him the money and get it over with. God rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Oh my gosh! I was not expecting a Michael Jackson to get dropped on a sports show. You know, that's the first one. That's the first one.
That's another
So,
QB in the carousel that we don't know where it's going.
Yeah, that's another one that we have like no clue. I think he would be great in Tampa. Like, I think Deshaun Watson would be great in Tampa.
I think
and it'd
with
be
what
like,
they have built there, I think Ben Roethlisberger right now could be good in Tampa. But, like,
Well, I think yes. I think, like you said, anybody can be good in Tampa at this point. Well, dude, Ryan Jensen might not resign. Ali Marpet just retired, so like, dude, the line's just practically gone at this point. So like, I don't know if there's any protection besides Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
But that's a big dude. That's a big boy. 6'4",
As
380.
almost.
That's a big boy to get past there, man. You know, it's like, I can't imagine that. But so another person in the NFL that's got a lot of headlines is Antonio Brown.
another career over person.
Lando, you got any thoughts on Antonio Brown?
I needed 15 points from in my fantasy league that last game he had, and
And he got naked and ran
I
out.
was pretty mad when he decided just not to play the game, man. Like, what the heck?
That's great.
He would've got it, too,
Speaking
because
of
I-
fantasy league, how
Tom would have gone to him in the second half to get his bonuses, so he would have got 15.
Yeah, I was pissed off, man.
Oh yeah, dude, he was like
have to win
3
this.
catches away. He was like 3 catches away from like 330 grand. Like, dude, just accept defeat and just, you know,
And now he's a super
accept
gremlin.
that the balls. Yeah, that's
Whatever that means.
super gremlin, whatever that is.
Pitting
All
up the
right,
power.
let's transition to to a time that like I think everybody's anticipated and ready for. If my graphic will play, I don't know if it will play here. Is it going to play? Oh my gosh, please. If it doesn't play, you can edit it in, but you know, I don't feel like it's going to play just because of Riverside being Riverside. Shout out to Riverside, the crew that we're using to record this with. But anyway, they're not playing, so we're just gonna have to edit into the background. So my job just got harder. Have fun, Ashton. Yay! Oh, transition! Welcome to Blockbuster Trade. You can't see the graphics, but woo! You know, Lando, you're the first guest on the show. You can't choose Zach or you can't choose me because we wrote the questions here. But Ashton here can help you with these. Yeah, unfortunately, because Zach helped write the questions.
Okay, all right.
So we were going to give you a choice. I was between Zach or Ashton, but Zach helped write the questions. So I can't let you choose Zach, unfortunately. But Ashton here, you can call on him. You can call on him twice. If you don't know the answer, he doesn't know the questions. You can call on him twice to help you with the question. And you can win some prizes from our sponsors. You have a total of 9 questions, so you have a total of up to 9 prizes that you can
I bet you weren't expecting this. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? You're like, holy 9 prizes. Yeah,
put on the spot.
so all right. Let's go ahead and share my screen so you can see this. How about that? How about that? Here we go. Look at that. Here we are. Blockbuster Trade. Beautiful, right? You know, there was supposed to be a little graphic and a little intro, but it didn't really happen. As you know, hey, welcome to life, right? All right. So let's start with question number 1. So you have tiers, by the way. So each tier, I should tell you, you have items from each sponsor that are sponsoring each of these questions in each tiers. Okay, so we have a total of 3 sponsors today and a total of 9 items, which is, 3 from each sponsor. Obviously, tier 3 are the hardest questions and are the most monetary value of the items. And all of these you can use, by the way. These are all items you can use. They're not like gag gifts. They are like actual legit things that you personally, as a sports fan, could use. One of them is a mini basketball hoop that you can hang on your door. So that way, when you're just sitting there, editing or doing something with Rocket League, you can turn around and be like, Kobe! And, if you make it, you make it. If you miss it, you miss it. But let's start with question number 1, shall we? McLando, what color are the goalposts in football?
What color are those yellow goalposts?
If they were only, not yellow. What is your answer, McLando?
They're yellow.
They are yellow. And that is the answer. Good job. Woo! All right.
Don't get your hopes up. They get worse.
You have officially won a scented wall kick from Wallkicks.com.
All right.
I will send you a link to Wallkicks.shoes. You can put them in your car. It is just like this behind me, except for a small one that goes in your car that is a scented flavor. By the way, the shoe, is a wall kick. You get to pick from that shoe. Question number 2. How many players are on a baseball field at once on defense?
I'm going to go with 9.
That is also the correct answer. Woo!
Wow. I'm so impressed with myself, honestly.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And you have now won from Dunham Sports a junk ball set, which is the bat and the ball. So you have won that. So you and your roommates can go play wiffle ball in your backyard. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Jump ball is a good time.
Great time. Question number 3. In football, how many points does a touchdown hold?
That'll be 6 points.
Oh, the trick question did not phase him. It is 6 points. I was hoping you would say 7.
Yeah.
And now you have won a starter kit from Rogue Energy. So I will send you the website for that as well. So, you will get that as well. So question number 4, moving right along. How confident are you feeling, by the way? And since, you got your first ones out of the way here, how confident are you feeling?
I got the first 3. It'd be pretty sad if I missed those, but I have a feeling it's going to amp up a little bit here.
I should also say in this tier, you have to get 2 out of 3 right to proceed. I should have said this to begin with. I'm not making up rules as I go, I swear.
Sure.
I'm not making up rules as I go, as I swear. You have to get at least 2 out of 3. Yeah, you have to get at least 2 out of 3 questions right to proceed. And you still have 2 of your lifelines to ask Ashton down there, the ECU guy.
Okay.
Bad guy.
Yeah, there may or may not be a question about ECU here, which is why I say that. And
no
what
pressure.
sport uses a racket, a net, and a shuttlecock?
I know 2 of those things. So I'm probably gonna need help.
I got this one immediately. Ashley made fun of me for knowing this one.
Yeah, I did make fun of you for knowing this.
I knew that. He literally said that, and I was like, "Yep, this is it." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Does no one know that?"
I've never heard that in my life.
A shuttlecock. I know. I was
That in my
like,
life. I'm gonna need some
That's
help,
the best
Ashton.
equipment name in sports. A shuttlecock.
are you gonna cash in your lifeline?
Yeah, I am.
All right, he's cashing in his lifeline. Ashton,
I'm gonna
Which
go with
sport?
badminton.
you're gonna go with badminton. That is the correct answer. It is badminton.
It's so clutch. for me.
Badminton.
Little known fact:
You spelled badminton wrong, Zach.
That's right. That's right.
we had a
You spelled it
growing
wrong,
up.
actually. I spelled
had
it
an
right for you.
Growing up, we had an exchange student from Spain that lived with us, and he was like the junior champion of badminton in Spain. Little known fact.
Wow.
That's why I knew that.
Yeah, so Ashton learned. Yeah, Ashton learned all about shuttlecocks.
He also just learned how to spell
Yeah, I
that.
knew you would go there. I knew you would go there.
Yeah. All right. Question number 5. Lando. Kobe
All right.
Bryant wore number 8 and 24 in his 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers. What number did he wear in high school?
This isn't goalpost color no more.
They upgraded a bit. I watched Kobe in high school. How am I supposed to know this?
Yeah. This is a common theme, though, man. Everybody knows this number in high
I
school.
didn't know this one either, but
Oh.
20 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
I was gonna take a stab at it and say it was number 8.
It was not number 8. It was number 33.
How do you just
Yeah,
continue
it
the
was
trend
number-
or something? I don't know.
Number 33. Well, that's first one incorrect, but this puts a lot of pressure on you
Redemption.
because
Redemption.
I should say also sorry, I forgot to tell you what you won on. I forgot to tell you what you won here. You won the mini basketball hoop from Dunham Sports.
All the fun
Forgot to
stuff.
tell you that one. Yeah, you got all the fun little
Making me feel
stuff.
better after a loss. Thank you.
Yeah, right. All
I did
right.
not know Kobe's number.
Question number 6. In meters, how big is an Olympic-sized swimming pool?
Oh, my
I
dad
think
would
if he
kill
gets
me
the
if I messed
length
this up.
right,
Yeah,
it
if you
should
get-
count.
Yeah, it's the length.
I'll give you either or. If you get the length or the width.
Oh man. My
You're an
dad would be
engineer.
so
You should know
mad.
this.
Yeah, I just
You got it. I have faith.
stumbled upon a pool and measured it. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
I do have a hint if it's wanted.
is it a free hint?
I'll allow it. This is a tough question.
If it's the name of one of the it's the number of one of the Olympic things, like
Yes, one of the free swims.
one of the free swims. It's one of them.
If
you remember
it's
all
between
the-
2 answers because I forget if it's the length there and back or the length there, and See, my dad.
Remember,
would be
you
so
still
mad.
have a
He's huge
lifeline.
swimmer. My dad's gonna be so mad at me.
Oh, it's unfortunate. I have faith too. You still have one more lifeline if you wish to use it. But I don't know if Ashton's going to know this one. That's the problem.
I was in the same boat as you, but I eventually got it.
Again, I'll give you the length or the width. I'll give you both or one of the
One
other.
is easier than the other, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go 100 meters
What do you like length?
length. Yep.
Okay. What do you think the width is?
I don't know. It's probably 50.
100 by 50?
You
Yeah.
ready?
Final answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Divide it by 2.
divided by 2. But you know what? I'm a generous host. You're the first guest. We'll continue on the game anyway. We'll continue on anyway. I want to spend money. You know.
These ones are
all right.
rough. So if you thought
These ones are a little hard. You think these ones were, easy? All right. Name 3 out of the 5 starters on the 2003 St. Vincent St. Mary's High School basketball team.
High school?
High school.
I got 2 questions from high school. I guess I just need help, Ashton. Save me.
I've got I would say I've got 1.
Yeah.
Well, I don't got 2, so we got a problem.
I got 1 LeBron James.
Sure you got 1.
You sure got 1.
Yeah. I need the other 2 too. Oh, there was a white guy. Hold on. I remember the documentary now. The little guy, the point guard. Was his name Nick?
I don't think they had a little white guy.
No, you're thinking of
Yeah, they
Kobe's
did. He was
point
in the
guard.
documentary.
You're thinking of Kobe's point guard, Eric.
No. Oh, I was. You're exactly right. Never mind. I had
Eric
no
Mansky. Eric Mansky. Or
Eric,
Monsky,
Nick,
whatever his
both
name
4
is.
letters.
Yeah. Little white guy who's in the documentary.
Yep.
Any other guesses, McLando?
I have no idea.
Romeo Travis, LeBron James.
Yeah, that was
Corey
literally what I was
Jones.
going to say. All 5 of those.
Zayn Cotton.
They're pretty
And
common
Drew
In that
names.
Joyce
order, actually.
the
funny
third.
enough. Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. In that order, nonetheless. So let's move on to a question I think you might get. This one. Which NFL team has their logo on only one side of their helmet? And for these questions, I will allow you to keep using Ashton if you wish to use Ashton.
This is the first one. We're breaking ground here, so might
Yeah,
as
we're
well.
breaking ground. We might as well let you just, do whatever you want. It's your show, Lando. It's your show. Take it.
Got spoiler, I guess.
I'm the first guest, and I'm already promoted to my show, I guess. All right.
Yeah, it's your show. Yeah.
Why am I looking at their helmets?
I'll give you a hint. They have the same colors as my shoe.
It's the Steelers, then.
It's the Steelers. Woo! All right.
get
You
so
have
much
won yourself a medium wall print from Wallkicks. So you will get a shoe to put on your wall.
Hey, I mean, I got a lot of open space.
You got a
on my
lot of wall
so-
space. Yeah, you got a lot of open space. Looks like you can use one. So, last question. What NBA team does PayPal sponsor?
PayPal.
So it's like the little logos on their jerseys that they have. I don't know if you've seen those. Like the little logos.
Hey, you guys.
What team does PayPal sponsor?
This is like, what color was the truck in this video kind of question. Like, I'm not looking there.
It's one of those where it's like you see it once and you're like, oh, that's PayPal. Then you're like, you get asked this question in this
of
specific
course.
podcast.
You know, it's
and you're
funny.
like, oh,
You know,
wow.
it's funny because when me and Zach were doing this, he literally was like, what team does PayPal sponsor? I instantly said it. I instantly
I
said
didn't know
it.
this
You're
one.
just extremely
And then I
observant,
said,
man, 'cause-
well, I instantly said it. And then I said, you know how I know that? Because I also know that Chime sponsors the Dallas Mavericks. So hint, it's not the Dallas Mavericks.
So you have
Write
30
that
other
down.
teams to choose from.
So,
Hold on, did you say Mavericks?
Well, I have one more life on the lifeline, right?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
use it
you
because I
will.
have no idea. So save me.
Ashton, if you have any clue,
All
what
pressure's
team
on
does
you and not me
PayPal
now.
sponsor in the NBA?
Just lean back.
You know, it's crazy. I was watching highlights the other night, and I remember seeing it, but I cannot recall what team it was on. So I'm going to take a guess.
I'll give
I'm going to say the
you.
Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
I take it that's not right. because of
Unfortunately,
Zach's,
yeah, unfortunately, you are not right. But I really like giving stuff away, so we're gonna
Veteran
keep
point guard?
going. We're gonna keep going.
the
There is
answer?
a point guard. Well, we're gonna
Okay,
keep
you're giving
going
other
until we
hints.
get
I got you.
until we get the answer. Yeah. So one last hint, and this is it. There was a 2-time MVP on their team, in the 2000s, and he was a little white guy.
Oh, that was my second
His
guess.
first-
Oh, never mind. Hold on. Yep, I know who it is.
Lando, you have any ideas? If not, you can go back to Ashton.
I would love to take advantage of the option there. I need Ashton to help.
Ashton,
with
what's your
the,
guess?
Let's go Phoenix.
The Phoenix Suns. And that is the answer. It is
Yeah.
the Phoenix Suns. So, the last thing you have won, McLando, is my heart. No, I'm kidding. You have won.
already
Yeah.
won.
Aw.
A true sport
Oh,
for the
wow,
friends
I
who
know.
made
You
it
won
all
that
the
when you
way.
guessed the goalpost color.
Yeah, you won that when you got the goalpost colors. No, you have won yourself a T-shirt from Dick's Sporting Goods of any team of your choice. Just the T-shirt. So you tell me what team you like. You message it to me.
All right.
Send me your name, send me your size, and what team, and I will get you a T-shirt for that team.
Sweet.
Now, Dick's Sporting Goods is not a sponsor. I want to keep that in mind here. I am just giving this away.
That's so nice. Wow.
So let's kill that. So thanks, Lando, for playing the first the first show of Blockbuster Trade. But before we send you on your way here, we're gonna have one last segment with you about the MLB.
Sure.
Also know you're a decent follower of the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
You like the Giants. You're a big Giants fan. By the way, you stole Chris Bryant from me, so I hate you for that as a Cubs fan.
Nah, the
I hear
Cubs
that a
sold
lot.
him to
Stole.
him.
Very
No,
similar.
you
Yeah,
stole Chris
That wasn't a
Bryant from
steal.
us.
They were giving him up.
Yeah, they had a fire sale and they sent Chris Bryant to a place that he could compete at, which I'm not mad about it, but I'm mad about it.
Try being a Pirates fan.
Oh, dude, that's gotta suck, bro.
Yeah.
That's gotta suck, bro.
It
So, speaking about the MLB with the lockout and everything that's kind of happening, and the upcoming free agency and all that stuff, we'll just specifically talk about the Giants for just a second here. Looking at the Giants roster with an aging catcher and Buster Posey probably moving over to first base next season, maybe not. I think that's the best move for them. Just because his age and his knees, maybe in the long term speaking, maybe moving into first base might be the answer. Where's Chris? What's happening with Chris Bryant? Is he going to go to the Nationals to team up with, or not the Nationals? Sorry, the Phillies to team up with Bryce Harper. Like, what do the Giants really need to do to get to that? The World Series contention.
I just remember
In
the
your
last
mind.
of last season. Like everybody just said we were not going to be as good as a team as we turned out to be.
And
I
y'all
mean,
were.
The Giants
y'all
seem
were
to
a
do
great
that.
team.
I mean, we were not looking good at the beginning, but I just remember like weeks going by. I'm like, have we just not lost a game? Like,
Yeah.
how did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah,
I have
y'all
the
went
opposite
like 15
experience.
and y'all went like 15-0 at one point, and I was just like,
I didn't understand.
Yeah.
The things with the Giants
Yeah.
is like it feels like they go like 50 and 110, and then the next year they win the World Series. Like I don't understand. It seems like it's been like this past decade, like the 2010 to 2020, it's been like Giants, random team, Giants, random team, Giants, and I don't like
Yeah.
they keep pulling it off for some reason.
And
Yeah.
I might be a little biased when I say this, but I do believe the coaching staff is partially to credit for that.
It's usually how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I-
despite who's playing,
I
I
agree.
feel like that coaching staff in San Francisco is just awesome, amazing. They always find a way. to just
they've
work
done a
their talent.
wonderful job. They've done a wonderful job. Just like I would say, when the Cubs won in 2016 when they brought in Joe Madden, and it really does show that baseball in general, just baseball in my opinion, managers make a difference. Like coaching and management makes a difference because of how they control the game, how they call the game. As a baseball guy, everybody here is a baseball guy. Like we all played some level of competitive baseball, that whether it be almost college, almost semi-pro, almost pro, at some point we played some high level caliber of baseball. And we all understand the game. We all know that if there's a runner on second with no outs and you're bottom of the ninth and the game's tied, you bunt that motherfucker over third. we all know that. Like, that I don't matter who's batting. I don't care if it's Barry Bonds hitting. You bunt the motherfucker over to third. You take one for the team. I mean, yeah.
Unselfish
So
baseball.
like, Yes, like that's the coach I am. And I feel like managers make that difference in the MLB. Looking at Joe Madden, I would say he made the difference of that 2016 Cubs. Regardless of that talent that was on that team, he made that difference. And I agree with you that San Francisco's management has made the whole difference in the world when it comes to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Their farm system's incredible. They keep breeding talent coming up through the minors, and pitcher, like y'all's pitching's like just very deep. Like y'all's pitching rotation has been deep for years. Do you like account for that as another reason that you guys have been like really solid, as having a great bullpen? And y'all, who was the guy with the big beard that y'all had for like the lefty? Wilson, there you go. I mean, he was a stud.
He'd do this every time he won. I remember that.
So do you account like that bullpen in the minor league in the system, like as far as like y'all's longevity, or do you account it to like the front office and making, the right free agent picks, like a Moneyball style?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things, because I've never played baseball at a very high level, but I can assume with 160 games, you're pretty mentally exhausted halfway through a season to say I have to play another 80 games against like teams that are just like thriving all of a sudden. Like, why is this team that never won a game just peaking all of a sudden? Like, it doesn't take like a very veteran like player to understand that that's a problem on a mentality. If you make a big mistake, how do you recover from that? Like, players are going to make mistakes. Nobody's 100%. How do you adjust for that? Well, it's your management. It's veteran players that have been there before that can kind of give you advice, and just fresh blood to kind of like reinvigorate like a team.
Yeah, and I think Buster Posey does a very good job of that, of being that at now in his stage. I think he does such a good job at being that 38-year-old leader, or 36-year-old, however old he is, that older leader that they have. And he's consistently, even at that age, put up numbers like, I don't want to compare him to like, the Tom Brady of baseball, but I mean, he's playing at that age just as good as Tom Brady has in football. So it's like, he's consistently being good, but, I'm not going to compare him to, saying he's going to win every year like Tom Brady. But I'm just saying stats wise, he's not fallen off a cliff like Tom Brady has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something to say about somebody who can like play good for a very long period of time. I mean, if you go through many draft classes, you see players have like a career that's like 3 years, 5 years. Then you see somebody that's like got 15. You're like, how the hell do they do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Even longer, 20. It's just like it's mind blowing when you see somebody play 20 years. I mean, I used to think when I saw somebody play 20 years like Kobe and Tom Brady, it was just like, well, damn, dude, that's a lot of miles on those legs. And then, like, now it's just a common thing to me, where it's like Buster Posey's been in the league for what, 17, 18 years now? Like Yadier Molina, same time. It's like, I mean, but Molina fell off a cliff. Molina hit a cliff. That finally caught up to him, and his numbers just went.
Yep.
Like, but Buster hasn't. He's there.
Cool thing when it comes to age is, I'm finally at the age where I'm older than professional players, some of them, and that's like amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like there's like, there'll be like dudes in like the NBA, MLB. I've kind of been, because you can get drafted out of high school, but like NBA and like football players, there's like some of them, they're like, yeah, this guy's 20. And I'm like, I'm 21 and I'm sitting in my room. Like, like that stuff's like crazy to me.
I'm in
like,
college, man.
Like there was a dude, he was the class of 2020. I was class of 2019. He went to a school like 20 minutes from me up in Pittsburgh, and he got drafted to the Reds like 12th overall. And I was like, I've seen this dude play, and I haven't played against him. He sat for us because he would always kill us. And he got drafted, and I was like, this dude's like 18, and he's already in like the MLB, like drafted 12th overall, and he's just like a regular guy, and like that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ashton, looking at the MLB and the free agency, what is your Ashton? What's your take on like some of the big name free agencies, like or players, like where you see them going and how you see them fitting? Like Chris Bryant, do you see him going back to the Giants, going to the Phillies with Bryce Harper because they're best friends? Do you see Rizzo staying with the Yankees? Like, I mean, what do you see happening, Ashton?
Well, assuming they get everything worked out, I think the biggest is going to be Freeman for the Braves. what he does.
Freddie
'Cause
Freeman.
If they can bring if they can bring him back when they get Acuna back healthy, I think it's going to set them up, pretty good again. But if they lose him, he was kind of like the heart and soul of that team anyway.
It's scary that the Braves won the World Series without Acuna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary that's the thing. Because, like, imagine if, like, the best player on your team is healthy and it's, like a talent-wise best player. Like, he's talent-wise the best player on that team. And it's crazy to see how much of a team sport baseball actually is. And that's what I love about baseball is that it's just such a team-oriented sport. Lando, where do you see some big names going?
It's tough because I never really look at the background of baseball. I just really like to appreciate a season opener to the World Series, and we're gonna be waiting for a season opener. Yeah, and I'm still waiting for that. I'm hoping that we get some news on that because I really want to watch some baseball again. But this is kind of my lull period where I'm just kind of staring at a wall and just waiting for news to hit.
Yeah,
more or less. Does anybody think that the commissioner needs to step down at this point?
Commissioners always get a bad rap across everything. It's so their job is so hard, but I feel like in his position for something like this,
Manfred's been terrible.
I feel like for something like this, I think it's kind of obvious. People will always be they hate Goodell and stuff. And I'm like, people just hate him because it's the principal in high school kind of thing. It's you just hate him to hate him. He just runs everything, and you just hate him because you have to, kind of. But Manfred has kind of just been he's kind of been showing reasons to hate him. And I was but I don't see him stepping down.
Is the MLB like the NFL? Does the commissioner serve at the behest of the owners like the NFL does? Because Goodell is the commissioner, but he's employed by the owners. And if that's the case,
so it's the same with Manfred. He's the same way.
Yeah, he's trying to get the owners the best.
Yeah, but
cut of the pie. If it goes on,
but at the same time, he's.
If you start to have players starting to sign, some of the middle of the group guys starting to sign with Japanese teams, then I think that's when you got to pull the plug.
It's about to happen. I think it's about to happen.
Yeah.
I think we're on the verge of seeing
popularity.
Well, I think we're on the verge of seeing superstars. I think Chris Bryant's about to sign overseas. I wouldn't doubt it. I think we're about to see free agents this season that are not in contract and just be all right, maybe it happens.
I would say the Pirates. Okay, me being a Pirates fan, or any small market team like Orioles, Rays. It's you only have 2 years to completely maximize on your talent and then suck for another 5. And I've been dealing with that my whole life because when I was from 12 to 15, the Pirates were really good, the best record in the league. I was all right, and now we just suck again. And it's going to be for every market team.
Andrew McCutchen was a baller when he was your age, or when you were younger. Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah.
I was from 12 to 15.
When he was my age, when Andrew McCutchen was my age, he was a baller. And,
we can only hold him for so long because you just can't pay players. And now we're in that transition period where break it down, rebuild. And I just want to the Dodgers and Padres are just we don't have to break down and rebuild ever because we're just that much money. And that's annoying to me. It's the high market teams are always going to be better. This low market teams are going to be good for 2 years.
Yeah, the Yankees.
The Rays, they're good right now.
And here's the thing: it's the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers now, since they have such a high payroll and they have that budget, they can literally use the entire MLB as a fucking farm system. And it's
the Pirates are the farm system. That's annoying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that the higher teams can use the other teams as a farm system and basically just say, all right, hey, I'll throw money at Alex Rodriguez like the Yankees did. I'll throw money at what's his name, Stanton. I'll throw money at the best players that money can buy.
They just got Rizzo
still not win a fucking
peanuts.
Ring. And it's and still not
Giancarlo
win anything.
Stanton. It's just
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who do the Pirates have? Brian Reynolds. He's a good player, but you need more than just Brian Reynolds.
Y'all have a good third baseman that's up and coming. Ke'Bryan Hayes. Yeah, he's a good up and coming player.
how long
the Pirates have
a
lot of questions. Yeah, that too. That's a good question. That's a good question.
That's how I feel. Is like small market teams are never going to be good. But like the NBA is like the NBA and NFL. There's no like the Jaguars. Let's say they're like the Pirates of the NFL. But like the Jaguars will always have a chance to do something. You know what I'm saying? The Pirates. It feels like they just don't have a chance ever, and that's what like I don't like about the MLB. I think that's an MLB problem. I don't think that's like a Pirates problem. I just think that's an MLB problem.
I think there is a lot of competitive unbalancing in the MLB, where they're well, I mean, like the Royals.
The ownership.
I don't know if
I
don't know if you know this, but the Royals were like a terrible team growing up. Like my entire life, the Royals were terrible. Then they won a World Series.
Yeah.
In like what?
But that's
20,
like that's the
was it 15 or something?
Yeah. That's their good
Like-
period. That's like a small market team. They're bad
Yeah.
for a long time, then good for a little bit, then bad for another long time. And the Royals capitalized on their good time. The Pirates almost capitalized on their good time, but they lost to the Giants in the wild card when Bumgarner threw his like the best game of his life.
Bumgarner. So I have a great Bumgarner story actually. I was me and Madison Bumgarner are the same age. He's 29, I'm 28. I played AAU. I was playing AAU. So Madison Bumgarner is from somewhere in North Carolina. I think it's Hickory. About like he's from Hickory, right? So I was playing AAU when I was 14 years old, and we were playing in state championships in AAU. And my team was like, I played on what the Carolina Hurricanes, which is the number one team in North Carolina. Out of those, it was ran by Trevor and Daryl Lawhorn on that played at East Carolina University. Don't know if you know them, Ashton, or heard of them. And they played at East Carolina University. And we came across Madison Bumgarner, and he was pitching for this team at 15 years old. This dude was already throwing mid-90s.
Yeah,
I
you
had
usually
only
tell when someone's going to go professional.
I had only seen 90, I think one time in my life, at that point in my life. And let me tell you, 90 and 95 are night and day. I mean, it is, you wouldn't think 5 miles an hour makes a difference, but it makes a difference. It's at a spot where you just guess and swing. And I
hear it before you see it.
Yes, and I can take pride in saying I was the only player on my team that got a hit off of Madison Bumgarner, and I got a double. And one hopped off the fence, and I thought I was going to get a triple. I was a switch hitter. I was a switch hitter, so I had that advantage to where I didn't have to bat lefty against him because I batted lefty a lot in baseball, but I was a switch hitter, so I batted righty. And I mean, this dude threw fucking gas, dude. And I'll never forget the umpire. The umpire was like, every time the ball hit the mitt, he was like, "Whoa!" And he would say but he wasn't meaning it like a strike. He was just like, "Whoa!" Because it was like you couldn't even see it. It was
That's a
he wasn't expecting it. I mean, he wasn't expecting it. An umpire when you first walk out in the game. And Madison, I mean, we had heard so much stories about him, and we got to the finals. And dude, I mean, we lost obviously. It was 5-1, and we got our one run off the person that pitched after Madison. And I mean, they were already up 5-0 on us anyway. And our best pitcher was Jared Carr, and he ended up playing at Stony Brook. And dude, he didn't hold a candle to this dude. I mean, he threw 85, 86. Junk ball pitcher, but I mean, Madison Bumgarner fucking scared me, dude. Imagine hitting off of Madison Bumgarner at 14 years old or 15 years old, seeing 95 miles an hour at 15, bro. He was 15 throwing 95 miles an hour. It's dude. And he hit a homer off of us, so I knew he was going to go somewhere. I mean, he was already big. He was already big. He was already 6'1". I mean, he was already big. But and he had that look. He just had that Bumgarner look. You know what I mean? Where it was when he stared players down. And transitioning into the Bumgarner look and kind of wrapping it into the end of this segment for Lando, because I know he's got to get going here shortly.
I got to get going. Pretty soon, probably one question, and then I got to go.
Yeah. So wrapping this all up. Lando, when you saw just Bumgarner, when you saw him play, and you saw him pitch, because Bumgarner in the MLB had a couple of dominant seasons, and then he was a very hit or miss, streaky type of pitcher. When you were watching Bumgarner, even when he first came on, or even at the end of his career when people kind of figured him out, or even now where kind of people, where he's a middle of the line pitcher, how do you look at Madison Bumgarner and feel about his Giants career?
I mean, it's a really good segue off of your story where, he was just dominating his whole life. And then you get into the pro scene and he's still dominating.
Yeah.
And then you start to falter a little bit. And
People,
that's hard mentally.
well, people figure you out.
Yeah, and that's tough because his whole entire life was all baseball, and he was just the best at it. How do you knock somebody down if they're always number one in everything, always, and then all of a sudden you're not getting people like you used to.
Those dudes were just built like that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with you in flag football. Being the MVP and then turning around and
it all went downhill after I missed that set. I tell you. Never looked at a flag the same way again.
I mean, you didn't even win MVP. That was just a joke, right?
No. Absolutely not. No.
Well, McLando, thank you for joining us here this evening. It's been wonderful, having you here this evening. Tell everybody where they can find you at, live on Twitch and all that good stuff, and we'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Twitch pretty much every day. I do it probably far too often, but McLando, no underscore, just kind of like McDonald's, but with Lando at the end. I'm on Twitter a lot, McLando Twitch. You can find me there. I usually post some random thoughts throughout the day, but also you can always find us when the Knights are playing on RLCS. So
that
we'll
is
be probably
true.
playing again late April, so we got a little bit of a wait, but we will be back.
Nice.
That is awesome. Well, best of luck to you and the Knights this upcoming season, and hopefully I will see you at LAN, because I am planning on going to LAN. Hopefully I will see you there, and I will buy you a beer.
I will be there.
I will buy you a beer.
I'll see you there. Oh, man.
All right. Have a good one, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Thanks,
Lando.
Yeah, woo. I nailed that goalpost question. Let's go.
Message me where you want me to send this stuff, and I'll get it sent over to you.
We do that. All right, bye, guys.
Have a good night, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Hey, man. What a wonderful guy. I love that dude. He's always been a homie. He's always been a homie. Well, now that Lando's gone, let's kind of talk a little bit go back to the NFL here for a second. Something that is more of a bigger mainstream issue is Aaron Rodgers. Does he stay in the Green Bay Packers? Does he go to the 49ers? Does he go somewhere else? Where does Aaron Rodgers go from each of you? So we'll start with Zach. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going, bro?
Okay, so the speculation is Broncos, Steelers, that's a good one, Packers, and somebody else. I forget who the fourth one was, but
I think it was the Buccaneers.
Was it? All right, I don't know.
I think it was the Buccaneers.
So, of all the antics that there have been, I honestly see him staying with the Packers.
Ashton's over there secretly in his mind, please come to Carolina. Please come to Carolina.
Yeah.
No.
So,
but you think he stays with the Packers?
I do, only because I don't think he has a reason for him to leave. Kind of. I know there's I think there's a bunch of random drama that was kind of forced onto him. You know what I'm saying? I think it was kind of made up for him. But there might be
his whole COVID.
There's obviously
his
stuff
whole
we don't know.
COVID thing. Yeah, well, his whole COVID thing didn't really help out. For him to come out and just publicly just blast the NFL on their COVID protocols didn't really help out his whole scenario. Blasting the Packers for not getting him help in the offseason when he needed it didn't really help out and stuff like that. But Ashton,
I do see him returning.
You do so you have him returning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to see him for the Steelers, but I think he's gonna stay.
So you have him going back to the Packers. All right. So that's one going back for the Pack show. Ashton, what is your take on it? Where does Aaron Rodgers go?
If you'd asked me a week ago, I would have said maybe Denver. But I feel like Green Bay's doing too much for him. They're reworking deals. I mean, he's not going to walk away from $40 million or whatever they're going to throw at him.
Well, you don't think any
It'd
other
be
team
crazy
will
to-
throw $40 million at him?
I think they will, but it's such an unknown. I think he's going to stay with the guys he knows. I mean, he's a creature of habit. I mean, I don't know that I would leave Green Bay. You're the biggest fish in the small pond, and he's all about notoriety and fame. And look at me. I feel like just how the news cycle's gone this year. So I think he stays in Green Bay.
So there's two that says he's going to stay in Green Bay. I am going to be the Skip Bayless here and just go away from you guys, unfortunately, on this one. I'm going to say he goes to Denver. And here's the reason. Ashton made note that he's a creature of habit. His offensive coordinator, his 6-year offensive coordinator, went to the Broncos to be the head coach. So I think he follows that footstep with the Broncos have a great receiving core, a great young receiving core, and Noah Fant at tight end. He's a great dump player that is, he's a big guy that can gain you some yardage if you dump him the ball on a post, or not on a post, but on a little flat route. You have 3 or 4 receivers in Tim Patrick and the young guys that they all have. God, I'm drawing a blank. Jerry Jeudy. They have a great little receiving core that I think Aaron Rodgers could do some damage with. I really think
Denver, but I just don't see him going anywhere. That's my thing.
Well, they also have that running back too in Melvin Gordon that is reliable
Javonte
enough
Williams
to
will be
and him.
I think Javonte Williams will take the helm this year
over Melvin Gordon.
Yes, not even close. Actually, I think Javonte Williams is going to steal it.
Okay, well, I mean, even if they say they stick with Melvin Gordon and just in this hypothetical what if scenario, Melvin Gordon's the guy that can still give you. If you turn to him and say, "Hey, here's the ball," he can still give you 10 yards.
I think he's a good player. I just think Javonte
he
Williams
can still
is
give you 10 yards. He can still give you. He reminds me a lot of Leonard Fournette, like somebody you can give him the ball and he will get you yards and move the ball downfield. Like he's not going to get stopped at the line. He will move the ball. So I look at that offense and I think Aaron Rodgers fits in perfectly. Do I think 100% that he is going to stay with Green Bay? No. Do I think it's about a 90 or an 80 to 90%? Yes. But I would say if he leaves, I say if there's an 80 or 90% chance that he stays, yes. But I said if there is an opportunity that he leaves, it is going to be the Broncos. There's no other team I think that fits him. Because say the Broncos sign Gronkowski. Just say it happens. Say they sign Gronkowski. But just say they do.
Just say they do.
Well, just say they do. Say they sign Gronkowski. Sets up Aaron Rodgers perfectly because now he has Noah Fant, Gronkowski, and that young receiving core that he can throw the ball to.
But I think
it'd be interesting.
I think
it'd be interesting.
The thing with so the Steelers is one of the options I saw, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Steelers fan, but if he were to come to the Steelers, their cap
y'all
space
got a great receiving core too.
They have the biggest cap space this year, which I think would be.
But y'all also
enticing.
Y'all also have great receivers in what's his name? Johnson. Y'all have Johnson,
Claypool, Juju.
You have Claypool, you have Juju. Juju's good. Juju's
He's not. He might not be on the Steelers.
You don't think he'd be on the Steelers because re-sign?
I don't think he's gonna re-sign though.
You don't think he will?
I want him
or is
to,
it or do you think the Steelers won't bring him back?
One or the other. It's either he leaves. I think he's gonna leave. I would like to keep him.
Gotcha.
But there's nothing I can do about it.
Gotcha. So now let's stay in the NFL here, but move on to a different topic. There's been a lot of speculation about the NFL going to London for years, like bringing a team overseas to London. The NFL is testing out a game this year in Germany. It's not in London, but it's in Germany. It will be the Buccaneers against somebody. So Tom Brady, if you're watching, you retired just in time, pal. You don't got to take a 30-hour flight across the seas to go play in Germany. And I think you saw that and you were just like, yeah, not doing that. See
I'm
ya.
retiring specifically because of that.
I'm retiring specifically just because I don't want to take a plane ride all the way to Germany. I mean, hell, I think everybody here can agree that if they were an NFL player and they were like, all right, let's get on a plane after practicing all week, we got to fly to Germany. It's just like, bro, that would be tough. You know,
I think they do it. I think they do it a little bit better than that. They don't practice all week and get on a plane on Friday.
Yeah.
I mean,
they fly over there. I think they have an open
probably the
date the
London
week
game.
before,
Yeah.
or they play a Thursday night game the week before,
yeah.
and then they fly, and they're there all week. I mean, it's more of a like pomp and circumstance thing that might get on their nerves too. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't think they should go. Just think how like disadvantageous it would be for like the Chargers to fly to London and play a 3:00 game when it's 8 hours. I mean, that, I think if you're going to go to London, you got to go like a whole like division in Europe. You've got to have like 4 or 5 teams ready to go. And I mean, you think about it, that's 52 players. So I think there's 200 guys that didn't make an NFL team that are on some practice squad that, can step up. But
Well, I mean, Josh Rosen's one. Josh Rosen's one of those players.
You could pick out
so.
Football's huge in
who
Germany.
knows?
I mean, they've got a whole league, like a football league, in Germany. So I think Germany, like Frankfurt, Berlin, would probably be a better fit than other places like
London.
Paris. But London would work.
London's
But I mean,
good. I think it's
I
been
want to see what
working.
London does. Let's see a Monday night football game in London. See how many people.
Well,
let's see
that's the
every
thing.
week.
They're having the game this year. They're going to try out the game this year in Germany between the Buccaneers and somebody else. They don't know who the opponent is. They haven't named it yet, but they did say the Buccaneers would play a Monday night football game this year in Germany.
Guess we shall see.
Who?
Yeah, and every team has got like, I know the Panthers, you have like some kind of a representation in a European city, and I think the Panthers are Frankfurt, Germany. I think it is. It's a Germany. It's a German city, but I think that's kind of opening the door to this. Let's get some presence in Europe. I mean, that's just more TV dollars and media dollars, so that's what it's about anyway.
Right. So also segueing into expansion teams, where we just talked about, building a whole nother division in London. Let's talk about the NBA and expansion teams in the NBA, because the NBA is very like the competitive level. Well, the competitive level right now in the NBA is like dominated by a couple teams. I mean, and surrounded by players, right? The teams are more or less just building players so that they can just, come here and play, come here and play, come here and play, is like the way the teams are marketing nowadays, where like, everybody wants to get drafted and then go play with somebody and then leave and go join a team in free agency, right? Nobody wants to draft a team, or no player wants to get drafted and stay with that team long term. So do you think building or bringing in an expansion team in the NBA will not only bring back competitiveness for the small market teams? And where do you think these expansion teams should be? Seattle, Pittsburgh, like you just said. What do y'all think?
Question. Seattle and Vegas in the West.
I think Seattle
and then
and
they
Vegas,
move Memphis and New Orleans to the Eastern Conference, and it's done. Wrap it up.
I agree.
I can see that. Done.
Next segment.
Easy segment.
Vegas,
as much as I would like.
Vegas is such a sports city. And then, I know the gambling thing that goes on, but man, you can't miss that opportunity to go into
I
Vegas.
agree.
Well, that's why the Raiders just went there. The Raiders are there,
Yeah,
and it's working out for the Raiders,
Golden
like
Knights
attendance wise, money wise. Yeah, the Knights are
hockey
there,
team,
like
yep.
the hockey team. So I mean, it makes sense to expand there. But do you think that bringing in the expansion team, you guys, will help the overall competitiveness of the NBA?
The only thing with it is I just feel like it would make it one more bad team. But
Well, yeah, because I mean, think about it. The Bobcats, when they first came to the league, we're not talking about the Hornets right now. We're talking about the Bobcats, although same franchise. We're a bad team. Like Ashton here, me and Ashton remembered when we drafted, and I'm going to say we because at the time, yes, I was a Bobcats fan. I still am a Hornets fan at heart. But when we drafted Adam Morrison, and I remember he hit that half-court shot, and we thought we had the next Larry Bird. And let me tell you something.
I was there. I was there.
Yeah, let me tell you something. He hit that half court shot, and we thought we had the next Larry Bird, and boy, were we wrong. So, I mean, it gives the expansion, because the expansion team will always have that top pick in the NBA draft. They won't get the number one. I think they get like the third. I think it's always set in stone that they get the second or third. So we're guaranteed the top 5 pick just for that reason. So that way they get a player that's going to be a good player eventually, right? And we got Adam Morrison. And let me tell you, we got Adam Morrison.
No, well, that wasn't the expansion pick.
No, that was Emeka Okafor. That was Emeka Okafor. And then we got Adam Morrison, and boy, did we get fooled with both of those guys. Both of those guys did we get fooled.
And Sean May. I mean, there's a long list of.
Yeah, Sean May too.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, do you think that would rebalance the competitive play, though?
No, I don't think it
No, I don't.
No, so you don't think it would?
I think it's going to be more media money. The salary cap will go up, and that'll just be more room for these mega teams.
I think that's more. That's another team for a mega team to beat.
So do you think that if they had an expansion team in Las Vegas, do you think that Las Vegas could be an alluring place for free agents then?
I would go there.
Yes.
I would go there, but they would have to have
Seattle is probably the mistake. But
what do you mean the mistake?
I think Seattle would probably be the mistake to go back to Seattle. I think there's a San Antonio. I can think of a couple of other cities that probably deserve a team more than Seattle.
San Antonio has a team.
I mean, I know. Sorry, who was I thinking about? Was it Austin?
Austin, yeah, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh. You got Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a bunch of.
Yeah, the only thing with Pittsburgh is it's a hockey city, so it would just get overshadowed.
I think there would be fan base there in Pittsburgh. I think St. Louis is another place, like St. Louis, Missouri, and even Kentucky. Like Kentucky, they love basketball because like Wildcats basketball is a big thing in Kentucky. So like maybe you look in Kentucky and think maybe you bring somebody to Kentucky and bring someone there, or maybe Kansas because Kansas basketball too is a big thing. The Jayhawks. There, I mean, you have places that the NBA can just say, hey, let's take a look at these markets and see if it makes sense. And the only reason I'm saying this being competitive balance, and I'm meaning like because the way players are. So keep this in mind when I say competitive balance. I mean like is the destination attractive enough, and is the fan base there for players to say, hey, let's like the gravitas is it there to pull these players there?
I think
obviously Vegas. Obviously, Vegas is there.
The fan base wouldn't be there in Vegas. What you got in Vegas is that's the road game you want to go to as an away team. I mean, you got the Raiders were close enough that just transferred over. I guarantee you, there's probably 30% of that crowd that's, for the visiting team anyway in Vegas. But I think that's something to build on though. Vegas has enough of population that you could definitely tap into that.
Yeah.
I think like fan base wise, Seattle, Kansas, Kentucky, Pittsburgh's a hit or miss. Pittsburgh's a hit or miss with fan base because they already have so many damn championships teams that like I don't think Pittsburgh. In all fairness, as a city of champions, I think if a basketball team came to Pittsburgh and they were like, oh, we're gonna have a basketball team.
And they were bad.
We'll come see you guys. We'll come see you guys in like 5 years. We'll come see you guys in 5 years when y'all are good. Like
Pittsburgh fans
I think that it's like I think it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. So great. So now let's talk about college basketball. We haven't really touched a lot into it. College basketball is coming up right around the corner. Or March Madness, is right around the corner. Who's everybody's? If you had to say, I'm confident taking all my poker chips and shoving them all in. I don't think there's a team yet I'm confident with, but if there was a team I got to pick, I have a team I can pick. But if there's a team you guys are sitting at the poker table and you said, I'm all in with these guys, who is it?
Honestly, I can't even give you a team. I have, literally this is the first year, I actually have no idea who could win. Because
Kent
every
State.
team is
Just say Kent State.
Kent has been good. They're obviously not going to win. Kent has been very good, but they're not going to win. I actually don't even know. I actually have no opinion. I couldn't tell you because every team is so evenly matched.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Well, college basketball has turned into less of a team sport and more of hero ball in the last 5 minutes. So, Ashton, if you were sitting at the poker table, and you had to make a bet and say, "Here's my cash in, all in on this one team," who is it right now?
I would split. I would split the hand, and I would go the Zags and Auburn. One of
those aren't bad choices.
Yeah.
Those aren't bad choices, and I agree with one of his choices.
Gonzaga's a good pick. It's just those teams like that always get upset. So like I couldn't tell you.
So my team that I said I would go all in with is the Auburn Tigers. Like right now, I like the Auburn Tigers. They're they have everything. They play as a team. I think they're well coached. I think they are in a position that, and they're a veteran savvy team. They have a couple of veterans on the team that they can go, man. They just let them go loose. It's like that. You remember when Virginia won the championship and they had all those veteran style players? That's what Auburn right now reminds me of, is those veteran style players that, when I say veterans now in college, it's like 2 or 3 year players. They're not, 4-year players now.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up on the 4-year players. And as a Duke fan, I got to say, I think Duke will be a Sweet 16 Final Four team. But I don't see them going past that because the Duke has turned into a hero ball team.
That's the way it goes, yeah.
Well, they've turned into the hero ball style where. Go ahead.
I've got a little sleeper. One of my favorite players growing up was Penny Hardaway, and he coaches Memphis. And Memphis has been extremely hurt all year, and they're 19-9. If they can get in the tournament, which they won't if it plays out, but they got to make a run in their conference tournament. But if they can get in, they can make some noise because I think they're pretty much healthy now.
I got another sleeper. I got a sleeper for you, and I'm going to stick with the Coach K coaching tree here and move over to a little school called Northwestern with Chris Collins.
Oh yeah, yep.
With Chris Collins, they're currently sitting at 26-7. 26-7, but they haven't played anybody. That's the problem, is they haven't played anybody, and they're second in their conference. So, does it happen? Is this Northwestern's year to be the upset?
March Madness for a reason.
This is called March Madness for a reason. And I'll never forget Chris Collins' first year when they only lost like 6 games or 7 games his first year at Northwestern, and they were like a 12th seed. Yeah. And I was like, bro, that is just like a slap in his face. Because it's Chris Collins, man. He's a great coach.
If Kent were to get in, they'd probably be like a 12 seed.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I could see that. And it's the same thing with Xavier. Xavier is always the 12th seed too whenever they make it. Whoever makes it out of like those schools like Xavier and whatever conference they're in is always normally a 12th seed. Just the same reason. It's just bracketology, like who they've played and stuff like that. I know that phrase gets thrown around all the time between all the sports writers, bracketology. Yeah. So it's like, what even does that word mean?
It obviously
it's like the study of brackets.
It means nothing because no one's ever had a perfect one.
I mean, well, this might be the year. If we can all three put our heads together and come up with something, we might have a perfect year. No, I'm kidding. Will never happen. I can normally, like when March Madness starts after the conference tournaments, I can normally tell you who's going to win or who's going to at least get to the Final Four. But after that, I can't do before it or before. I can't pick, the 1-16 upset that happened with Virginia and whoever it was, the Bulldog team, whoever they were, the Dogs, whatever they were, whatever team that was.
It was like
if anybody
UMBC
knows.
Or something.
Yeah, whoever it was, the first team that 16 that beat a 1.
Yeah.
Before that, the only other close upset in NCAA history was Chattanooga. Or actually, wait, let's see. I already gave one spoiler away. Ashton probably knows this. Zach, what was the only other game in college history that was a 5-point game in a 1-16 seed?
I couldn't tell you.
It was Chattanooga and Duke in 1993. When Duke had just beat Kansas in the championship the year before that, and they were coming back, and Chattanooga they were up. I think they were up by 3 with like a minute and a half left, and the bookies that were, because if you bet $1 on Chattanooga, correct me if I'm wrong, Ashton, you bet $1 on Chattanooga, I think you won like $100,000. I mean,
it was
and
crazy. It was crazy long shot. Yeah.
And people were betting $1 on Chattanooga, and the bookies were packing their bags and leaving because they couldn't cover the bets. Just think about it. I mean, it was $1 to 100,000 odds, and somehow, some way, I think Grant Hill just took the game over, and Duke ended up winning by 5. And it was, I mean, literally a minute and 30 left, and Duke was down 3.
Yeah.
That's the only other time a 16 seed had came close to beating a 1 seed, besides when, Virginia got upsetted by. And I'll never forget watching the guys jumping up and down on the bench. The one big dude, the redhead, like freaking out, But speaking of March Madness, Ashton, if you're still okay with it, next week, you still okay with next week? Being
yeah,
live stream before I
think I can pull that. Yeah.
Announce that. All right. So next Sunday, Zach, you're excused unless you want to show up and come. Next Sunday, live on our YouTube channel, we will be doing a starting at 6:00 or maybe before that, maybe around 5:45, for kind of some talking about some stuff, and then me and Ashton. We'll be doing a live stream on our YouTube channel at the AA to Z Sports Show of Selection Sunday. And we'll be giving our takes on Selection Sunday and doing a live bracket analogy right there on the spot on Selection Sunday. Obviously, we won't be airing Selection Sunday. It'll just be playing in the background, and we will be in person, having those conversations. So that will be happening next Sunday. And hope to see you all there. As well as Zach, if you want to join, more than welcome to, get one of these calls going again. And, obviously since you're in a boo state, a different state, and you need to come back to North Carolina, loser. No, I'm kidding. But other than that, I think that's all we have for you today, guys. It's been a wonderful time. Does anybody want to say anything before we close on out? As a car goes racing by Zach's dorm.
Yeah, bike. I'm in an apartment. No, I think I'm good.
Ashton?
I'm good, man. No, sir.
You want to say a shout out to anybody? Shout out to Ashton's son, Jackson, the homie.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson, the homie. Jackson is about to turn 3, right?
Yep, that's right.
When is his birthday? Tuesday. So happy early birthday to Jackson, who's turning 3. Happy early birthday. Make sure you show him that. And
time flies.
Hopefully he'll remember me with my hair not, being too crazy. He probably will look at the phone and be like, "Who's that guy?" You're like, "Oh, I don't know, man." Yeah. The guy that just put you in a boat last week, like that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you asked him to take you to the pier, and I was just like, "No, I can't do that." But all right, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Double A to Z Sports Podcast. Please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for more content.
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th, but